And it looks like IdrA wanted to engage, but it doesn't even matter. The force field are just too powerful, able to cut the army like not in half, but basically away from the army again. Oh, looks like he opened up the flower for some reinforcements, but the Spore Crawler was able to blast it away. Now these roaches are trying to do as much damage as possible, but there's just way too many sentries and stalkers. But at this point, the sentries are losing energy and might not be able to force field. But good play by Minigun. He's moving away into the main base, technically, of basically this base. And oh my god, able to once again cut off 3 roaches. IdrA wanted to engage. He actually wanted to push that, but it doesn't matter. The force field cut off his army. And what? That was insane. Basically, amazing play by Minigun. He realized his sentries were running low on energy and he needed to move out. He needed to, like, if he kept engaging here, it requires 3 force fields to completely, completely block this ramp. So if you do 2, a couple of roaches can actually get through. So what he did was he realized, oh crap, I'm running out of energy, I'm running out of force fields. He ran away into this base. And this meant that it would only require 1 force field to basically force field this ramp. Also, it's a lot easier to like cut the army in half because the ramp is so narrow. So amazing like read by Minigun. Minigun saw the situation. It was kind of just like, oh, I need to get away, and he just used it amazingly. Looks like he also got another War Prism to get a probe out and put the Nexus at this base really safe, because if IdrA wanted to counterattack, he'd have to break down these rocks, and Minigun would be able to attack them. And look at this, picking up his units and dropping them off as soon as he realized, okay, I'm stuck, but IdrA might be able to mass up a huge army and attack. But IdrA has now realized that the army of Minigun is somewhat missing with this Zergling, so is going to try and break down these rocks with these roaches, but Minigun will be in position to deal with this. We're also going to be seeing a couple cannons being placed here as well, so even if IdrA braces, I'm not quite sure if he will be able to do enough damage by running there, but it is okay because IdrA was finally able to get up a third after losing this base. It looks like he also wants to retake this as well, but at this point, Minigun is going to be on 3 bases effectively once this is done in about 10 seconds. And he will be able to start getting that huge, crazy Protoss death ball going once again. We're going to be seeing Immortals on the way, so as well as Blink. We're also going to be seeing an Infestation Pit did finish, and we're going to be seeing 6 Infestors on the way for IdrA. This is actually pretty interesting that he's going to be doing this. Usually a lot of people do like to give IdrA a little bit of flack by saying, IdrA, all you ever do is make, like, mutas and lings and blings, especially that against the Terran matchup, and he rarely makes Infestors. So I'm really glad to see that he is utilizing these Infestors in this matchup, although I feel like Infestors in Terran versus Berserk are a little bit stronger. We'll see how this plays out. We're going to see Neuroparasite on the way for IdrA as well, but at this point in the game, Minigun has been working on Immortals, and don't get me wrong, Neuroparasiting Immortals is ridiculously powerful, but you do want to be Neuroparasiting those Colossus, because then you're just doing massive amount of damage, like splash damage, to the Protoss army. So we'll see how this Neuroparasite, like whether or not it's going to completely pay off. We're going to see a Templar's Archives on the way for Minigun as well, so he kind of wants to basically counteract the Infestor play by doing as much feedback on the Infestors as possible. I mean, it will do a lot of damage to those Infestors if he's able to get those off. And basically, it's just almost one-shot, because the Infestor basically gets 200 energy, but at the same time only has 90 health. So even if it's at half full of that energy, you will be able to basically essentially one-shot it with those High Templars. We're also going to be seeing a High Tech on the way, and as well a Spire, which I'm trying to locate. Oh, there it is. And the Spire is such a small building, to be honest. So, we're most likely going to be seeing Broodlords. It's a really good combination. Infestor Broodlord against the Protoss player is just devastating, and it's just ridiculous. The Broodlords pretty much lock the entire ground army of the Protoss player in place, because the Broodlings are just so strong. And at most, if like for whatever reason Minigun is able to blink underneath, or tries to blink underneath the Broodlords, the fungal growth, if they go on the Blink Stalkers before they blink, they're stuck in place. You can't blink anymore. Back before a patch a long time ago, you actually were able to blink while fungal growth, but looks like we're going to see a couple feedbacks on the Infestor, but in the end just only killing 2. And now the army of IdrA is going to be running in, but force fields are going to be cutting this army in half. Roaches and Infestors are just going to be running around wondering what to do. None of these roaches are firing. We're going to see a couple Neuroparasites on these Immortals, but good blink micro by Minigun will mean that he was able to blink on top of the Infestors and able to pretty much snipe all of the ones that were doing that Neuroparasite. Looks like the army of IdrA is going to want to run away at this point in the game. We're going to see 54 Zerglings on the way for IdrA, which is actually a really good countermeasure against all these Immortals and Stalkers. Zerglings just tear through Immortals. Immortals just do so little against Zerglings. So these Zerglings will be able to do so much damage to the army composition of Minigun if IdrA can get into a good position. He wants to do a counterattack at this base, but these 5 cannons will just be like, nah, get the hell out of here, and he will have to comply and run away. Those cannons were able to protect that. We're going to be seeing a Greater Spire also on the way, so if IdrA can get that Broodlord army out, he will be able to do so much damage to the army of Minigun. But at this point, if Minigun pushes right now, he will also be able to do so much damage. Might be able to actually take the game away from IdrA if he pushes. He's at 199 supply. He's completely maxed out. He can do so much damage at this point, but he's kind of stalling for a bit, so IdrA will be able to macro up. Minigun should move out at this point. I mean, he's not getting anywhere too much. Maybe he's waiting for the +3 armor. I mean, +3 level. Okay, wow, I totally butchered that. +3 ground weapons attack. There we go. If he, maybe he's waiting for that. It looks like he wants to go in anyway. Doesn't matter. And we're going to be seeing a lot of spine crawlers on the way, but he will be able to basically force the cancel on these. Going to be seeing a storm on top of the army of IdrA, but IdrA's running in with a lot of Zerglings at this point. A lot of fungal growths are also going to be going on top. And whoa! Look at all those neuroparasites. He got every single immortal at this point. But look at that blink micro by Minigun, able to hop on top of all of the infestors. We did see a huge amount of fungal growth being thrown down, but it doesn't even matter. He was able to blink on top of the infestors, and now the infestors are kind of just chilling there. He needs to move these away, but the infestors are just being slaughtered by all of those stalkers, and now he just lost way too many infestors in that exchange. And there comes the Raffle from IdrA, and there's the smiling face by Minigun. Once again, there's going to be a fungal growth on top of these stalkers, but I'm not really quite sure what he can do. And ooh, a lot of Zerglings are going to be popping and running down the ramp. He will be able to actually push his army back with using these Zerglings, but oh man, look at that reinforcing stalker group. So many stalkers are going to be reinforcing this, and all these Zerglings have died. And you did that stuff. Oh my god, IdrA, I love you so much. There's the BM from IdrA. Will we see a GG? Most likely not, and there's going to be the rage quit from IdrA. And wow, intense game. Oh my god, for a second I thought that was going to be a neuroparasite on a stalker, but in the end it was that spine crawler. Intense game between these two players. I feel like the turning point of the game was pretty much pretty much this engagement right here. That's when everything just kind of spiraled completely out of control for IdrA. I mean, IdrA had the game. He was just like, I got this. I have everything set up for myself. You know, I got this third base up, and I started it at 4 minutes and like 19 seconds or something like that. It's like, I got it. No problem at all. But in the end, Complexity's Minigun ran in and force fielded ramp, sniped off every single drone at this expansion, and then sniped off the hatchery, and then even cut the entire army in half. Not like literally, he didn't cut the army in half with the force field, but he basically brought down the army size of IdrA in half, basically just by blasting away every little unit that came in every once in a while. And then he ran up to this place and used a once again amazing force field placement to kill off the army of IdrA. And then when IdrA was just like, okay, I'm in a terrible situation, I need a counterattack, what could he do? There's just 4 cannons here. He couldn't counterattack. And then the next base that Minigun got, it was amazing. He got this base. This base. If Minigun opted out to get this base, IdrA could have technically counterattacked because the cannons wouldn't have been up in time. But because IdrA was basically forced to break down these rocks, it gave Minigun enough time to actually get his units from here to here and also get a couple more cannons up. If Minigun put the Nexus here, technically IdrA could have ran in to this base and Minigun's army would have still been here. And IdrA could have probably taken the game after that. He would have probably just macroed up like crazy, gotten another hatch, no problem. But because Minigun did use basically really smart game sense and place his Nexus here, he was actually able to take the game through brute force of Stalkers and Immortals. Great game between these two players. And since this is over, let me just say one thing. I apologize for the audio levels of the last video that I posted between Root Destiny and Artist. My mic was a little bit too close to my mouth when I did cast that. Usually I have my mic placed in a certain situation that I always cast from, but for whatever reason it kind of got pushed a little bit close to my face. When I started casting, it almost sounded like I was eating my mic. I apologize for that, but hopefully the sound levels will be fixed by this time around. Also, my drivers were a little bit messed up. As usual, every time I plug my mic in and out, for some reason my drivers get all jacked up. But in the end, hopefully the audio in this video will be better. So thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in my next video. Peace!